Senator, I know from the Pilsen neighborhood that immigration issues are no longer confined to border communities, and you've seen an example of that here as well. How do you plan to inject a note of civility in the immigration debate without threatening a second civil war?
Well, I think that it's going to be a contentious issue. People have a lot of passions about it. But the bottom line is this, that we need to deal with this issue in a practical way, not in a political way. And I think that most Americans, if you explain to them, we're going to be serious about border security, we're going to crack down on employers who hire undocumented workers, but we're also going to provide a pathway to citizenship for those who need it, that I think most people will respond positively. The problem is that we haven't had a lot of leadership out of the president. He said he supported comprehensive immigration reform, but never really worked hard on the issue and didn't use his political capital on it. And he didn't have much political capital to begin with by the time he actually started working on it. I want to tackle this issue early and in a serious way.
On health care, some of your ideas seem to dovetail with the group that Senator Wyden has put together in terms of what kind of coverage Americans should have and how it should be paid for.
Well, Ron is a very smart guy. I have a lot of respect for him. And he's somebody who I would want involved in creating the legislative leadership that can push real health care reform through.
Okay, so you think there's something in that proposal that...
He and I don't agree on every issue, but I think that he understands that we can both improve quality and improve access and reduce costs all at the same time, and that we have to if we want to get a grip on Medicare and Medicaid spending.
Okay. What do you think is the responsibility of the federal government toward the Western public lands and payments for those lands that obviously local governments can't tax?
Well, look, I've spoken to the delegation here in Oregon about this issue. I think that the key is to provide some sort of long-term solution. You can't do these things piecemeal because then local governments can't plan their budgets. You start seeing cuts in libraries and other public services. And so I want a long-term resolution that recognizes the federal government's obligation to be good stewards of our lands, but also recognizes that local communities can't be brought to a standstill economically as a consequence of our regulations. And the general principle is having the federal government listen to local communities and state and local officials who are much closer to the ground on these issues, something that we failed to do.
So are you surprised at kind of the public reaction that you're getting? I've been covering politics a long time, and the only other person I can think of that evokes the same kind of response you do in people is Robert Kennedy.
Well, people have, I think, viewed our campaign as a way of expressing their desire for a different kind of politics, for rediscovering a sense of idealism about public service. And, so I think it has less to do with me than it has to do with the spirit of the times and the spirit of our campaign. And, I'm very mindful that this campaign really is about the American people more than it is about me.
What do you think about your reception so far in Oregon?
Oh, it's been terrific. I always have a good time up in the Pacific Northwest. There's a good vibe here. A lot of my friends who grew up with me in Hawaii ended up in this area. So I think there's sort of a common culture between here in Hawaii. Maybe that's part of the reason why I end up enjoying myself so much when I'm here.
Our rain is a little bit different.
Yeah, I have to say that the weather's a little different, but the people have the same good spirit.